Welcome back to my channel. Yeah, the $2 knockoff copy of Barack Obama is pissed off right now about it. About what's going on right now. Just one day ago, Hakeem Jeffries, or the knockoff Obama. A lot of us are calling him that because he acts like Obama. Is furious as Democrats side with the GOP to end shutdown. So let's get to the video, shall we?
What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now you guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So we got that leader of the Dems, Hakeem Jeffries, coming out absolutely irate after learning that Senate Democrats have now teamed with Republicans in order to reopen our federal government without his involvement, guys. I'm excited to get into this one, so we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, so I'm straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
We are in now the longest government shutdown, and that is because of blue leadership in the United States Senate. Chuck Schumer. It is the Schumer shutdown, and he's got to stop with the shenanigans because there are millions and millions of American families that are hurting, in desperately need of SNAP funds, of women, infants, and children funding, the programs that are provided to my farmers back in Iowa. All of these services have shut down, not to mention the traveling public and the safety that is threatened by overworked air traffic controllers. This has got to end. And again, it comes back to that blue leadership right here in the United States Senate, Chuck Schumer.
All right, folks, we're just over a month into the longest government shutdown that our nation has ever witnessed, and Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of the Dems, still is not able to admit the truth and the facts of the matter, that this is all the Democratic Party's fault. I mean, everyone is fed up with the lies and the gaslighting tactics coming from these loonies on the left, but Hakeem Jeffries is just not willing to give it up. And you know it's bad when even CNN can't get on board with the lies and gaslighting anymore. They're calling them out as well.
Well, Donald Trump and Republicans shut the government down and refused to reopen it. Donald Trump has spent the last 35 days more time on the golf course, more time talking to Hamas, and more time talking to the Chinese Communist Party than to Democrats on Capitol Hill, who represent half the country.
Mr. Leader, you guys are voting no on opening the government, not Republicans. I know you're asking for specific things, and it's much more complicated than that. We'll get to that in 1 second.
Hold on a second, Dana, because let's be clear about that. The American people clearly understand who's responsible for shutting down the government.
Yeah, but you said they shut down the government.
They did shut down the government. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and Donald Trump has spent the last few days saying to Republicans in the Senate, you have the power to reopen the government. They refuse to do it.
I want to talk about tonight.
And it doesn't take too much explaining to see the fact of the matter here. You know the situation has gone too far. This thing has gotten out of hand. When even dishonest CNN is calling out the Dems and calling out Hakeem Jeffries, saying they know exactly who continues to vote to keep our federal government shut down. But that's not the worst of it, guys. I want to show you exactly how selfish the Dems are. Check this clip out right here. The Dems actually just voted to block a bill that would suspend pay for Congress until our federal government is reopened. They don't care about anything but themselves and getting paid.
I rise today with my bipartisan and common sense No Budget, No Pay Act. It's a simple proposal that says if members of Congress can't complete one of our basic jobs of funding the government, we shouldn't get paid. This shouldn't even be necessary. We should just do our jobs. But as we sit here over a month into the Democrat shutdown, it's clear we need something to hold Congress accountable.
This bill does not take much explaining for folks to understand exactly what purpose it serves. If Congress isn't able to perform their most basic duties of passing a budget, then they should not be bringing home their pay. I mean, federal workers are not getting paid. Folks that are struggling and in poverty and have to rely on food stamps and SNAP benefits aren't able to receive those benefits and keep food on the table for their children, keeping their kids fed. So Congress, until you guys pass this budget, you should not be getting paid. It's as simple as that. But we're seeing exactly who they serve, and it's not the people, it's themselves. And it's getting bad. We're seeing folks all across our nation struggling. We're seeing now, we got Rep Response tweet out here for United is now canceling. United Airlines is now canceling hundreds of flights originally scheduled for tomorrow and the next day due to the Democratic shutdown. I mean, this all could have been avoided if Dems simply did their job. Instead, they choose chaos, and it's because of Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. It's not hard to see exactly who's at fault here. I mean, the Republicans, they voted how many times to open our federal government to pass this budget, and then you look on the other side of the aisle, you see exactly what's going on.
Well, what I'm saying is that it's not so much as of a blame. I think it's more about what's driving it and who's driving it and who is withholding their votes and are about opening or keeping our government closed. And that means we need 5 more. So for me, that's where we are. And I agree that it's a bad idea to shut our government down. And it's wrong now as we are doing this right now. So for me, that is a country over party situation. And now 42 million Americans now are in food insecurity, and all of the unions that are being directly hit by this, and they all have been calling this needs to end. And that's where I'm at.
It's very refreshing to see that at least one person over there for the Democrats has a sane and rational mind when it comes to the government shutdown. He knows how many lives, families have been affected by our government being shut down. He said all it's going to take is 5 Democrats, 5 folks to say, hey, I've had enough, and to finally give in and vote to reopen our federal government. And speaking about those 5 folks putting country over party, we got Speaker Mike Johnson keying us in that he is now going over the heads of Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer to work with Democrats to reopen the federal government. I want you guys to see it.
And it speaks for itself. So we're going above the heads of the so-called leadership, and we are appealing to the consciences of a handful of people in the Senate who want to do the right thing and just stop the pain. Stop the pain for the American people. And we pray that today is that day. Maybe tying for the longest shutdown in history is something that they can claim as some sort of success. But it's sickening. It's sickening to see a political game being played. We're not playing a game here. We never were. Back on September 19th, to remind you all again, we passed a clean, nonpartisan CR. It's 24 pages in length, had not a single Republican priority on it. Why? Because we did it in good faith. Because we didn't want this eventuality to occur. We knew it would be too painful for the people. And that's why we've always done the right thing, as everyone has said over and over. Now they won't. We all know why.
Speaker Johnson very correct in saying the evidence speaks for itself. Everyone across the nation, if you're on the left, the right, or in the middle, can see exactly who's keeping our federal government shut down. And it's time for this to end in this madness. Speaker Johnson now keen to saying that they're going to be going over the heads, leapfrogging Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer because they're just that difficult to work with. We know that they've got personal interests in mind. They're not caring about everyday Americans across our country. They're not caring about federal workers. All they're caring about is enriching themselves and lining their pockets with even more cash. And on the heels of this announcement, coming from Speaker Mike Johnson, we got Jeffries and Schumer with an announcement of their own, a little memo to the President of the United States of America, President Trump. I want to check this one out. I'm trying to get it blown up a little bigger so everyone can see. But we got this on November 5th, just the other day. Dear President Trump, we write to demand a bipartisan meeting of legislative leaders to end the GOP shutdown of the federal government and decisively address the Republican health care crisis. Democrats stand ready to meet with you face-to-face anytime and any place. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Hakeem Jeffries and Charles E. Schumer. Oh, okay, all right. So we're getting somewhere. Finally, they're writing and saying they're willing to speak anytime, any place. Now I want to quickly flip over to this brief message that our Vice President J.D. Vance had to Hakeem Jeffries in regards to the memes that he's been so upset about, the sombrero memes. Guys, check this one out.
And, poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I talked to the President of the United States about that. Now, to your first question, are we negotiating one-on-one? Are we negotiating in groups? Look, I will go to the U.S. Capitol right now and meet with Chuck Schumer or any Senate Democrat if it helps us reopen the government.
J.D. Vance laying it out very clearly for Hakeem Jeffries, who has been oh so upset about the sombrero meme, saying, hey, this could all end with the snap of your fingers. Come meet with Republican leadership to end this Schumer sombrero shutdown. It's just as simple as that. And I want to end this one off with a little bit of a flashback of a quote from Hakeem Jeffries that once said, the filibuster is a relic of the past that should not be used to stop progress. What happened to this Hakeem Jeffries? This is not what we're seeing right now.
Congressman, you tweeted yesterday that the filibuster is a racially tinged artifact of the Jim Crow era. We cannot let it stand in the way of progress.
High priority issues for the American people that are being held up in the Senate right now because of the presence of the filibuster. And so a minority of senators are allowed to block progress for the majority of the American people. And that's something that has to change. Filibuster was first deployed by Senator Calhoun in the run-up to the Civil War to try to protect white supremacy as well as the institution of slavery. And then in terms of its modern form, it was really deployed in the early part of the 20th century to stop civil rights, including anti-lynching legislation that...
Here we go again. Gotta play the race card. Got to play the race card, don't y'all Democrats? Good night.